Welcome to Outlier on Air. This show is dedicated to disruptors, rule breakers, and big thinkers. I'm your host, Melinda Yeaman. Hang out with us, and you'll learn from the best of those who have gone before and are here to teach you what they know to move you forward. We love to be in the trenches on a daily basis with other entrepreneurs at our co-working space, Outlier Labs. And whenever we get the chance, we pack up and we visit other startups to see what they're cooking up and how they're managing it. This is an interview with Fred Welch from Trikke, Las Vegas. All right, we are here with Outlier Magazine and Trikke, Las Vegas with Fred Welch, who is the co-founder along with his wife, Ann. We're here in Vegas, right in the heart of the Container, what is it called?
Container Park.
Container Park, which is super awesome. You guys have got to check it out. We just ate authentic Mexican food. There's a band playing outside. It's a great location. And we came to stop by and ask Fred a little bit more about his startup and give you an idea of what's behind the scenes, what's in the works, and what it takes to get here. So thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be
Thanks
here.
for closing down your shop for us for a moment.
Yeah.
We'll go through a walkthrough in a minute. But first I want to ask you, Fred, tell me just a little bit more about Trikke Las Vegas.
Well, I think, it's my wife and I are originally from California, both of us, and we moved to Vegas. We've been working with Trikke for about the last 7 or 8 years now. And what we do in real life, so to speak, is we run a what's called the Trikke Academy Trainer Program, which basically introduces people to how to get in business with the company. Along with that is the fact that we make for the past 14 years, the company's been making a body-powered vehicle. So you were the motor that made it go. Wow. So learning that is a technique, and it's a learning curve, most definitely, just like golf is a learning curve, and either you're in for that or you're not. And so we are definitely a niche market, and the people that get into it fall in love with it. It's a full-body, low-impact movement that basically is designed to bring about balance and coordination. It's like skating with handlebars.
So it is an exercise.
Absolutely.
It's not just to stand on it and look at the sights.
Absolutely. And we had an infomercial out for many years that maybe some of your viewers even remember, many moons ago. And so about 6 years ago, we electrified. And that moved us from sort of a novelty niche market fitness vehicle into the transportation business. So now what we're promoting is, along with that full body fitness element, just like a bike, electric bike turns it into a real transportation tool. Same with us. And so now we're introducing people to what personal transportation can mean in their lifestyle, what it can mean to sustainability efforts. Oil is the number one energy used for transportation, and therefore transportation has a huge impact on our fossil fuel consumption as a nation, as a world. And the United States is playing catch up in many ways to what Europe and Asia, their personal transportation, whether it's by bike or whatever it may be, is just part of the culture. Here, we tend to be a single-modal culture where we use our car for every little possible thing. I mean, we'll get in our cars, it's almost a joke. I mean, we'll get in our cars to go half a mile. So this allows for people to really think outside the car, and we have a vehicle that is foldable. You can still get a great workout with it if you want. It is, you can throw it into your car, you can use it on the bus, and it allows you to now be more multimodal in your transportation options. And that's sort of the bigger picture that we're trying to convey here. So we moved to Vegas to bring that academy program, and in the process decided to start a brand new kind of approach to a delership here in Vegas, which is an experience center, really.
Cool. So originally when you were saying it was an exercise type vehicle, I was thinking, for instance, destination type locations like where we live in southern Utah, there are a lot of trails, and I can imagine that being wonderful for that. But then as you moved into the motorized space, I can imagine that more being an urban type of market. Is that true? Is that kind of what you're going for? What are you focusing on the most? What type of environment or audience?
Right. Well, I think here in Vegas, two things. We're firmly planted in downtown Las Vegas, so we are squarely in an urban environment, and so that is our focus right here. On the other hand, Vegas is a wonderful community to explore this kind of thing. That's part of our rationale for being here, and that is that unlike a lot of other cities where it just sprawls out into yet another city and another city until you're in another state, here, Vegas, we're in the middle of a desert. I always say Vegas is an island, and we're just surrounded by desert. So you go in any one direction too far, and you're going to end up in the desert.
Right.
And so that means that it really is kind of an encapsulated community in many ways. And so it's not too far. Downtown is a natural hub. It's from whence all of Vegas sprouted. So whether you go to Summerlin or Henderson, where you're talking about a much more suburban type of environment with all those trails that you're talking about, right? Still, the relevance stays the same. Obviously, here we're focused on urban, but whether it's urban, suburban, the context for this as a hybrid vehicle, a fitness-based vehicle, as well as that electric assist. And our electric vehicles go all the way from electric assist all the way through to a real solid electric vehicle with human assist. So, it's kind of like with an electric bike, you can, once you use the electric, you can barely keep up with it.
So, with me kind of having somewhat of a tech background, I'm thinking in terms of technology, and I'm thinking, okay, so the car is a little bit like the desktop computer that just, you use it when you need to, right. For the big motor or whatever. And then this is more of the everyday utilitarian. You can take it to work if it's somewhat close by. You could take it on the trails. Is that right? Like, this is kind of the more...
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's certainly one major part of the equation. Additionally, though, what I like to tell people is that it really does change your transportation lifestyle. If you're up for it, if you're up for the challenge of incorporating other forms of transportation into your mix,
okay.
What that means is that you're going to be able to change your lifestyle a little bit and be able to say, listen, I'm going to I need to go to CVS today to pick up shavers, gum, whatever it may be.
Right.
Rather than jump in my car, I'm going to use my electric transportation. We're going to get out in the open, interact with my community a little bit more.
Okay.
I'm not going to burn any fossil fuels in the process, right?
Right.
It might take me a touch longer because I'm only going anywhere from 12 to 17 miles per hour.
Right.
On the other hand, if there's traffic involved, a lot of times I'm breezing by those cars that are stuck in traffic.
Okay.
So it's really kind of and then it allows me to say, well, do I want, so for example, we have new clients that they live in the suburbs, but when they come to downtown, they slap one of these into their car. Now they're parking. They're not paying for parking. Why pay for parking when you don't have to be near your location?
Gotcha.
Pull it out of the car, and now you've got the entire downtown footprint at your disposal without ever having to move your car again. So that kind of stuff is really using the car what it's best used for. 65 miles an hour on a freeway is an incredibly efficient use of the combustion engine. On the other hand, stop and go, all that stuff that we know just burns fuel and wears out your car and all that. That's where this thing becomes, kind of the satellite vehicle to the mothership, so to speak.
So eco-friendly, health-friendly, wellness-friendly.
Absolutely.
And traffic
friendly.
Who doesn't want to reduce traffic?
Absolutely.
So you mentioned that some of these fold up, so imagine you have different models. You have motorized, non-motorized.
Yep.
Tell me how this all came to be as far as, first of all, how long have you been iterating these products? And tell me kind of a little bit the progression there.
Sure.
What that's taken.
The company was started in 2000, but long before that, in Brazil, a guy by the name of Gildo Boleschi invented this vehicle, and it's gone through many iterations since then. Originally, it had poly wheels, sort of a one-size-fits-all kind of approach, conceptually, it was designed to be something that you could ski and carve into the turns, just like as if you were a skier, ski down the hills of Brazil. Obviously, there's no skiing in Brazil. So this was sort of to satisfy his own need for adrenaline rush, only to come to find with some tweaking that if you just kept that carving motion going when you hit flat land, that you could keep it going, and it became more like skating with handlebars, and only to then sort of develop not only the design of the vehicle, but to develop the actual techniques involved, just like golf developed, all that stuff.
Great.
The idea was to sort of, so now you can make it go uphill, you can do a lot of different things with it, and it's a skill that you practice.
Okay.
So that really sort of evolved, and in 2000, the actual company was formed. They're located in Buellton, California.
Okay.
So that progression has been to sort of introduce it to the world while always, to some degree with the body power, always being a little stymied by the fact that there's a learning curve. And if you're not up for the learning curve, that's either a return or a disappointed customer. So we've been battling that element for a long time, just like people get frustrated. I keep coming back to golf because it's pretty learning curve intensive.
Right.
But once we electrified, it just changed the game on all that. So
are you a distributor for this manufacturer? Are you actually an entity that's tied in with the manufacturer?
Yeah, I started off developing a program for the company that was designed to teach people how to get in business with the company, but within that context, it was how to teach them the body power of motion. Up until that point, the company did not have an organized sort of national way of offering people a chance to go take a lesson, for example.
Okay.
So it would have been the equivalent of selling golf clubs without any place to go take a lesson on how to play golf, unless your buddy knew how to do it better than you did.
Gotcha.
So this has sort of evolved, much like snowboarding evolved, right? Your buddy taught you how to do it.
It took me like 5 seasons to learn snowboarding.
There you go. And that's why lessons sometimes, help cut that learning curve a little bit. Yeah, there you go. The first experience normally is better.
Right.
So we, basically what we did was we were able to take individuals who were already doing it, already had a passion, a love for it, bring them in to be able to not only communicate about the vehicles and about the company to folks, but also to be able to say, I can show you how to, because the number one question that people would get was, what is that thing? What is that thing? And it's that interest that allowed people to really have the opportunity to say, well, I can help you with that.
Right.
And so they would come to learn the motion, the movement, the physical aspects of it, the fitness benefits, et cetera, while also developing a sort of a sales rep type connection, independent outside sales rep type connection with the company. So that's what we started doing, and that's true for dealers. A lot of these people have ended up becoming dealers, some of our best dealers in the country, teaching people that experience. So that's what we started off doing. That's what we came to Vegas to bring, because if people are going to fly into any one place, Vegas is a great place to do that.
Train and
exactly right. And so, but now, above and beyond all that, we also have this experience center, which what we're trying to do is create a dealer type of program that could potentially be mobile, that can operate very efficiently out of a tight space, which is what the container park concept is all about. These are all shipping containers.
We'll show you this whole place in a minute, but we are literally in a shipping container. Is
well,
that what
this
this is? It's a very small space.
Very small. It's actually even smaller than your typical shipping container, because the container park is made out of a combination of shipping containers and extreme cubes. So these cubes are literally just picked up and prefabbed, planted down here, drop in the air conditioning and the electrical, and you're good to go. So, technically this could easily just be lifted up and taken someplace else if we wanted to. But think about it as a big trailer, right? And the idea is that because we deal with a foldable, portable product, where you can fit 5 in a rack pretty easily, it allows us to have a pretty large fleet operating out of a very small space, and we want to create a replicatable experience center concept that, from a business model standpoint, in terms of sales, the fact that your experience, come and take an experience with us, and whatever you pay for that is going to be applicable towards purchase. A lot of those types of elements is to really take advantage of progressive engagement with your client, really draw them in. So I always say we're kind of like the drug dealers of Trikke. The idea is just take a taste. And just keep coming back, because eventually you're going to get hooked. So that's
you
kind
can
of
come in here and you can rent per hour for an experience, or you can buy. Now, if you rent, Do they go through some kind of training?
Yeah, we do three things. We do sales and service.
Okay.
So that's the primo. That's what it's all sort of gearing around.
Okay.
Is to help people make a very informed, knowledgeable buying decision.
Okay.
We do demo rides and tours.
Okay.
So the difference between a demo ride and a tour basically has to do with how much do you want to know about what's happening in downtown Vegas, and how much is it just tell me about this thing and show me how to make it go.
Gotcha.
That really is individual and up to the client. We try to pair people who are of similar interests.
Okay.
Whatever they spend on that, which also, by the way, introduces them to this. It also introduces them to some of the stuff the Downtown Project is doing here in Vegas. But it allows us to give them an experience that then, worst case scenario, they had a great time. Best case scenario, if they want to apply that towards purchase, they can.
Gotcha.
When it comes to rentals, basically, we do what we refer to as client-based rentals. We don't rent to people just off the street. And trust
Okay.
me, we're in downtown Las Vegas. We get lots of people walking
Right,
off
I'm
the street.
sure.
Not everybody do we want to rent to. And so just to clear that up right away, what we do is we force you, in essence, we ask you to take the same orientation class that any owner would get as a part of their purchase.
Okay.
So meaning if you want to rent from us, you just go through that same class that an owner would take. Why? Because when we rent it to you, we want to feel like we're handing it off to somebody who knows
Okay.
what they're doing, and they know that we know that you know
Gotcha.
what you're doing. And one last thing, and that is that when in that, they can also not just rent for an hour, which is your typical rental program to tourists.
Right.
Most of what, if they're going to rent from us, they're probably going to rent for a weekend or a week.
Okay.
So now they know how to charge it, they know how to fold it, all that stuff.
So a couple of startup questions.
Sure.
How profitable is this?
Well,
This
that's
is a different kind of business, right? It doesn't fit in a necessarily a certain category.
It doesn't. We were fortunate enough to be one of the first to sign up with the container park.
Okay.
We were one of the first. Our space here, we're kind of off by ourselves. Some of that is a little bit by design. And so, on the other hand, though, their startup, the grand opening was December 5th of this year.
Okay.
Of last year, excuse me, December 5th of 2013. And so we basically had what is, for the most part, winter in Las Vegas, which ain't like winter in Chicago or
Right.
something like that. But it's still, people have a tendency to hibernate a little bit.
Okay.
So as much publicity and as much promotion and as much awareness building that's happened
Right.
in that amount of time, people have not been ready to sort of commit
Sure.
to going at 17 miles an hour in a bike lane or on the side.
That's a
or
short period of time to be assessing
profitability.
Yeah,
That's
got it.
true. But one of the things that I can tell you is, as we're watching the temperature gauge kick up over the last couple of weeks, we've also started to watch revenue
Great.
kick up. All those people that were thinking about it and just sort of feeling us out all those times are now
Yeah.
coming back to either take a tour or take a demo or bring their family who's visiting in town. And along with that, that's starting to be a conversion into people adopting it into their lifestyle. So it's working as far as we see in the 4 months that we're in operation.
So what's next? What's the end goal here?
The end goal is to basically start to expand throughout Vegas.
Okay.
There's lots of other communities here where this makes a whole lot of sense. Just like you were talking about in your community in Utah, there's a lot of developments here where they take pride in the fact that, one of the things people don't know about Vegas, they think that everybody lives in casinos or something.
Or high rises.
Or
big
high
glass
rises.
high rises.
We have quite a suburban culture here, but we
Yeah.
also have a very outdoorsy culture.
Great.
And a lot of people don't know, just last year, Vegas surpassed Portland as the most bike lanes
Wow.
per capita. And so it really, we're a little bit more ahead of the game than folks might think. So when it comes to outdoorsiness, we have our own weather window as well. When it starts getting 110 degrees,
Yeah.
your lifestyle changes a little bit in terms of when you decide to go out for that run or that trek ride or whatever it's going to be. So, for us, it's expanding into other parts of Las Vegas.
Okay. Are we talking about a
this as kind of
franchise, or are we talking about? What do you think?
I think we're in that discussion right now, and we're deciding. There's a lot of baggage that comes along with running a franchise
Sure.
kind of a thing, and
Lot
it's
of
a big,
costs
it's
involved.
a lot of costs, lots of just complicated elements to have to deal with, and contracts and everything else.
Absolutely.
So how much do we want to focus on just sort of copywriting, the materials, trademarking, and focus on, once again, a replicatable program that other people can without getting too... we're sort of in that debate right now.
But you will be scaling.
We will be scaling up. Yeah, absolutely. And with a big focus on the urban mobility aspect of it as well, because the sustainability argument is one of our biggest. Trust me, I started off as an enthusiast, so the physical and wellness, health and wellness, low impact, full body cardio elements of the body powered ride, all of which you get with the electric, that's all very near and dear to my heart. But that has a real effect on changing people's lives. We get a lot of people that say, I ran into, my doctor told me I had to find something or else I was gonna die. I need to lose weight or I was gonna die, and they just can't do it.
They can do.
This is something that's more approachable to them.
Good.
So that's that. On the other hand, though, personal transportation, multimodal transportation, changing the way people understand their transportation options, that's really a way to affect the planet, in my opinion.
Cool. So tell me, can we find you online, and can we buy online?
You can. Always remember Trikke is with 2 Ks.
Okay.
Trikke.
Okay.
And we are TrikeLasVegas.com. And there's also, my wife and I run TrikeAcademy.org.
Okay.
We ship all over. There's lots of very high quality trike trainers and dealers all over the country, though. So if people want to get introduced to it, we always recommend that you don't do it online, that you find somebody locally who can walk you through the process.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sitting with me. I appreciate you just being transparent and helping our audience know more about what it takes to do this kind of a startup. And if you catch us on our website at outliermagazine.co or on our YouTube channel, you'll see the walkthrough of this space, which is going to be fun. So we'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Thank you for joining us on Outlier on Air. Please visit our website where you're going to find a bonus video walkthrough of Trikke Las Vegas and a demo of Trikke itself. Go to outliermagazine.co. You'll also find the link to our 5-day-a-week podcast where we interview entrepreneurs from all over the world. We are here to help you start, grow, and scale your business. So we'll meet you online. We'll meet you on the podcast. And until then, we'll see you next time.